Hola a todos, I hope you're doing well. I'm so excited to have you back for another video. We're just gonna jump straight into it. We're gonna be talking about the college mistakes I regret, the worst college mistakes I made. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I know a lot of the times the best way for others to learn is if we have vulnerable and open conversations about the things we wish we would have done differently. So that way those who are listening, hence you, can take it in, take what resonates with you as you continue to pave your paths through higher education as well as career success. Right, numero uno, not applying to more prestigious schools. So here's the thing, right after high school, I went straight to community college. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when I was a high school senior, the thought of applying to four-year universities, it did cross my mind. And there were random moments where I did feel a sense of encouragement to do so, especially given the fact that a lot of my friends, specifically in my theater classes, they were applying to four-year universities. So hearing them sharing their open conversations, it did motivate me. One thing led to another, but at the end of the day, I chose to go to community college so I could have a place to finish my general education at an affordable price, as well as just to give me more time to figure out what it is I wanted to do, especially given the fact that I am a first-generation Latina, I was a first-generation student, and with all of that, I just genuinely needed time. Time to ask questions, time to figure it out, build community, and learn from one another about different professional opportunities and careers that could be available to me one day. So I was at community college for 3.5 years, and when it was time for me to apply for transfer, I was getting all my apps ready for UCs as well as CSUs. Now at the time, I had a lot of professors, mentors, and even classmates encourage me to even apply to schools such as UCLA, UC Berkeley, Stanford. With my parents, the consejo they gave me was to apply to schools that would be good for me. But at the end of the day, because I was nervous and I didn't really think that I was cut out for university as a whole, I did hold myself back from applying to institutions such as UCLA, Berkeley, Stanford, Harvard, etc. I still applied to so many good schools, multiple Cal States, multiple UCs, and at the end of the day, I chose to go to UC Santa Barbara. And I tell you, as I kept receiving those acceptance letters from the multiple universities I applied to, I took a step back and I was like, wow, maybe I should have applied to LA, Berkeley, Stanford, just to see what would happen. Especially because I had thought about those schools. I had also gone on a college tour my last year of community college to visit all those schools minus Harvard. But I was more scared of the possibility of getting rejected that I didn't even try. Regardless, UC Santa Barbara was a great institution. I have made so many connections, earned so many experiences, multiple degrees, but at times, till this day, I sometimes still wonder, what would have happened if I would have applied to LA, Berkeley, Harvard, Stanford, NYU? I guess we'll never know. So if you've been thinking about specific schools, but the fear of you feeling like you're not good enough to even try, don't do that. Give yourself the shot and opportunity to do so. Worst case scenario, they say no, but at least you can reminisce and always remember that, hey, you tried, you gave it your all, it just wasn't meant to be. Numero dos. One of the worst college mistakes I ever made was not expanding my network outside of my college campus sooner. So yes, I had built really great connections and network on my college campus with my peers, other professors. Just as it is very important to build a network on your campus, it's just as important to continue expanding your network by connecting with others outside of your college campus. Whether it's through an internship, whether it's through volunteering. And I know I've shared this tip before in the past, probably more than once, but it is so important and it is so crucial because eventually you're gonna want to apply to jobs after graduation. Even if you are interested in grad school in the future, you will eventually have to apply to jobs. If you were able to build connections and network with professionals outside of your college campus and they're working in organizations or companies that you are aligned with and you would like to be part of one day, definitely nurture outside connections as well. which again, you can do so through an internship, you can do so through volunteering, you can even do so on LinkedIn. But for the sake of not making this video so long, I can make a dedicated LinkedIn video in the near future. All right, número tres. Another college mistake I had was not applying to more scholarships. So don't get me wrong, I definitely applied to institutional scholarships, so at my community college as well as Santa Barbara. Also scholarships within my major. I only wish I could have put more time to the side and just continued applying to not just bigger name scholarships, but just to more scholarships in general. And that's why even till this day, with my members from the Cafecito con Estrellita membership, I always encourage them to treat applying to scholarships like a 2-unit class. You never know, and you never know what could happen. You never know what you could win. You never know what kind of scholarships you may even come across throughout your research. But regardless, as long as you have the thought and the initiative to consistently research and apply to scholarships, you will get somewhere. So for example, one of the common scholarships that I have talked about is the Hispanic Scholarship Fund. Now, let's say you apply to it your sophomore year of undergrad, then it didn't work out. But then you apply to it again your junior year, and then maybe it didn't work out. But then you apply to it again your senior year, that could be the year you win some dinero. But unless you take applying to scholarships seriously and like a 2-unit class, a part-time job, which also includes applying to the same scholarships every year, even if you didn't win it the first time, we could miss out on some pretty awesome opportunities, as well as winning some dinero. And I do also want to share that even though applying to scholarships can feel very tedious, at the same time, after some time of you actively applying to scholarships, it does get a little easier, to the point where you can confidently spend your Friday night having your TV on, playing your comfort show in the background, just to have that comfortability as you're applying to these scholarships. That strategy may not happen right away while having different distractions in the background, but again, as long as you keep it up, you'll be able to find your little tweaks and go from there. I know, I'll never forget, I was sitting in one of my Spanish literature courses, and my professor at the time, he was sharing, yes, so I need you to do this reading, have it ready by next class. It's only 60 pages, but honestly, if you just sit back, have a nice glass of wine and read it, the time will go by pretty quickly. Ever since I heard that, and the way he just so confidently and openly shared a veces that he takes on academic articles while having a nice glass of wine, it really changed the mindset for me that, after enough experience, we too can get to the place where we're working on academic related stuff. There's certain types of works that you could really just sit down and incorporate some fun things on the side. All right, número cuatro on the worst college mistakes I've made list is trying to find my forever college best friends the first few weeks of college. I'm going to focus more during the time I was in UC Santa Barbara. It's my first year, first quarter. I was excited. I had some awesome roommates, but I also wanted to make some amigas while working on classes and whatnot. I just really had the mentality that I was gonna find my forever best friend that I'm gonna be super close with even after college that first week. But that wasn't the case, especially given the fact, as many of us know, any type of relation, whether it's professional relationship, friendships, relationships, at the end of the day, it takes time to develop. And that's what makes them so special and awesome. And if I would have just kept that in mind as I was navigating the first few quarters of my undergrad career, I wouldn't have added so much pressure on myself for not finding my ideal college besties. It also wasn't helping that I was comparing my success to movies about individuals who were on college campuses. All right, número cinco. I didn't necessarily have a financial plan. Don't get me wrong, I was always working. Yes, I had some scholarships. Yes, I would save my money and not really buy extravagant things. However, I look back and I just wish I would have managed certain parts of my money, funds, grants from college a lot better. So for example, the semesters I did receive FAFSA in my credential program, I wish what I did have left over after my tuition was covered, my books, etc. I wish I would have put that in a high yield savings account. I also wish I would have allowed myself to shop a bit more so I could have more of a selection of professional attire to wear to conferences, to wear to networking events, because one, you never know who you're gonna meet, and two, it's nice to feel good about ourselves. Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of outfit repeating, but sometimes I outfit repeated too much because I would tell myself, no, like even going to the thrift store, even going to Ross or whatever other types of stores out there, why constantly be spending money on more outfits if I could just reuse and restyle certain looks I already had? You know, applying a little bit of everything never hurt anybody. I also wish the time I had spent working at jobs such as Disneyland, at a diner, an instructor, while being a full-time student, I just wish some of those jobs I would have re-looked at and considered working jobs at 5-star resorts, hotels, such as the Ritz-Carlton, and many more. Why? Because one, you never know who you're going to meet. And two, if I would have been working positions, even in something such as valet parking, what better place to use the college card than a location, than a workplace filled with so many experienced, high-profile professionals that if you so happen to be working valet and taking their car for them, or that you so happen to be dropping off a coffee for them or bringing fresh towels to them as they're sitting by the poolside, and you engage in small talk, you never know what opportunity may happen for you and what kind of network you can build for yourself, especially because it's always important to remember this. People love helping college students. That's why I always encourage all of you to please use that college card. It's so important, and it just shows individuals that if you are a current student who is dedicating their time to their studies, to figuring out how to build and expand a good career, and you're also in locations and places making conversations with these people that can serve as mentors for you as you're navigating university, post-grad careers, etc., it can be a huge game changer. If you think about it, it's kind of cool to be working at places such as, again, the Ritz-Carlton, making money, making tips, while also building on your network. Don't get me wrong, when I worked at Disneyland, I met some cool people. When I worked at the diner, I was able to create my social media empire. When I worked in maintenance at the UC Santa Barbara basketball gym, I met awesome celebrities such as Michael Jordan during the summers. So all great things, but if you could just give yourself a little more, definitely consider doing so. I know this last example, you know, somewhat financial plan, not really, but I didn't want to end this video without sharing that consejo. Alright, mi gente, thank you so much for tuning in on this week's video. If you haven't already, please make sure you are subscribed. Comment to the Cafecito con Estrellita YouTube channel. It'll mean the world. If you are interested in working one-on-one together or in a community-based setting, please check out the Cafecito con Estrellita membership. I will be linking it down below in the show notes. Cuídense y hablamos pronto. Adiós.